Hi guys, Dr. Kirsten Grant here, wrapping up my PhD in health psychology and food addiction in 1 or 2 months. Yes! So today is part 3 and the final day of the emotional eating series I've been sharing with you guys for the last 3 weeks. Let me recap. In part 1, I talked about how emotional eating gets a bad rap, so to speak, and explored a new way to look at the definition of emotional eating. Then in part 2, I talked about how to find out your emotional eating triggers and what to do. And now in part 3, I'm going to tie this all together for you to make a nice pretty ribbon and bow. Okay. So some of you may ask why I am discussing emotional eating and what does this have to do with food addiction? There are 3 things and 3 reasons. First of all, this is personal for me because all my life I saw my mother struggle with her weight. She went from being a thick thigh, saves lives kind of lady to a lady that couldn't walk more than 10 steps without needing to sit down. But there was this one time that I saw that she could change and that she wasn't trapped in the situation that she was in. After her divorce, and this was many years ago, there was a fitness salon that she would work out at 3 times a week, and there would be a coach there that would sit down with her and talk to her about her challenges she had for that week. And doing that, she lost over 4 dress sizes, and that proved to me that nothing is permanent in life, and you can make your mind up as long as you have the tools to lose the weight. And as a kid, that was amazing to me. Now you fast forward several years later, decades later, several marriages and divorces later, she gained all that weight back and more. And she suffered from hypertension, lymphedema, and diabetes, and her skin on her legs would swell so much that her legs would look like sausages and her skin on her legs would crack, and it would be so painful for her to walk. By the time she passed in 2016, we couldn't even find a normal casket to bury her in. So when I say it's personal, it's personal. My second reason, I also wanted to help overweight and obese women that are just so tired of counting the calories. They're so tired of the yo-yo dieting and so tired of that feeling like when you're about to take a picture and you play the wear my clothes laying game where you're trying to pull a jacket, if you're wearing one, a little tighter to cover your belly, or you're doing the side turn to make sure that they don't get a full frontal profile. So I wanted to do something. This is my third reason. So I decided to study, and I earned 2 doctorate degrees. The first one in health psychology and the second one in clinical holistic nutrition. And while I was in that journey, I created a study, and it's the first of its kind to use a psychological theory in psychology called social cognitive theory, and it helped obese and overweight women overcome food addiction and overeating. And in that journey, I discovered that emotional eating and anxiety and depression, they're all closely correlated and related to food addiction. So that told me that losing the weight and keeping it off is more than about calorie counting. It's more than about willpower and just deciding to eat lettuce all day long. It was something more. So the ladies in my study, they received the tools that they needed for 4 weeks to not only reduce their food addiction symptoms and stop overeating, but to lose the weight. And hey, I even incorporate a way for you to eat ice cream. So those 2 groups, they both lost weight. Actually, over 60% of them lost weight in 4 weeks. And it was all because I showed them how to rewire their brain, how to go deep, how to become more, how to find out what their emotional and environmental triggers were that contributed to them overeating. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this series. I'll be publishing the full results of my study soon as I'm given the green light. I think I'm going to call the Edible Addiction Report. Anyway, feel free to follow me on Instagram or Facebook and like this if you think that this was helpful. If you missed part 1 and part 2 of the series, let me know. I can repost it or send it to you guys. All right, guys, have a fabulous Friday. One love, much love. Bye.